which is how Ty cut open his head and broke his arm. He was heading back to the corrals with a half-frozen calf over his saddle when he hit ice on the same cut bank he'd crossed to rescue the calf, the sun behind the ridge now, the air snapping cold. They went down hard, the filly tumbling over Ty and crashing through the ice before plunging up again, wet and shaking, one hock bloody. Ty waded out to her, knowing something was wrong with his arm and troubled by an odd warmth on his face. He got the calf back over the saddle and washed the blood from the filly's leg. He wiped to clear his eyes and found blood, blotted it with his sleeve as he led the filly out of the draw. It was almost dark when he came into the corrals, the cow following as though being led. Blood had crusted on his face. The calf hung limp across the saddle. Ty was afraid they'd lose it. He was thinking about how to put the mother over an orphaned calf when he heard his father. Shit! Will peered at Ty in the failing light. Got scratched up. Knew I'd have to fire up that damn lantern. Ty heard matches scratching in the shed, saw the lantern take. He led the filly into the broken barn, the light casting outsized shadows behind his father and across old gear, broken and abandoned along the walls. Lucky it's still numb. His father probed at the wound. That'll help when your mother starts in. That calf could make it. Ty watched Will ease the calf off the saddle and carry it under the shed, the cow following, too played out to protest. But the filly wasn't played out at all, getting so jumpy when Will came at her that Ty had to calm her himself. He slid the saddle off with his good arm, doctored her leg before following the lantern up to the house. His mother cleaned his wound, pulling the cut together with tape. She worried over his arm even more, wrapping it and fixing a sling before telling them what to get in Missoula after they saw the doctor. Wish them doctors didn't cost so, Will said. Might save some if we let the damn calves die. Better than no doctors. Lucky you grew up at all, Will. I was a lot more careful's what I was. Wouldn't hurt to practice on that. Will got up from the table. Save money, too. He got out the makings for a cigarette, surprised Ty was the one who'd gotten hurt. They left the next morning before the others saddled and got started for school, needing to get the pickup out while the road was frozen. Ty was looking forward to a long day in town. When they left the doctor's office, they went to Horace Adams' feed store, Ty with a cast on his arm and shiny white bandages over the stitches. Will had a list of things to do, but Ty knew he'd want to complain to Horace Adams first. Horace supported half the ranchers in that country anyway, never expecting much until folks got their hay in and their calves sold, carrying many even beyond that. In no time, Will and Horace were telling each other how bad things were. Ty drifted off, feeling unsettled not so much because his arm hurt as because he didn't want to hear that kind of talk. He knew ranch people liked to complain, but he also knew this time they were right. There wasn't enough money to do anything but complain, or pretend. Sometimes, when he was riding out to check on the cattle, he'd start thinking about the crazy schemes his brothers had, and he'd get so blue he'd ride past what he needed to do. It made him even sadder to hear his mother. She was always looking for ways to lighten Will's dour predictions, which was getting harder and harder to do. The big outfit didn't pay much, and they were down to just a handful of cows of their own. And it always seemed their calves that were lost each spring, not the big outfits. In one corner of his feed store, Horace kept tack he got from hands down on their luck. Ty went to look at the saddles, dreaming to have his own, one that fit him, that he could rig just the way he wanted. A tall, deep-chested man with the whitest hair Ty had ever seen.